Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to map a lens on the cMotion cPRO. If you go into the main menu, you go to lens, you can use the thumb wheel or you can use the touchscreen to scroll up and down. But if you go into thumb wheel, then you go to lens, and then you go down to create, click create. Then you need to calibrate. So you can see I've calibrated already here, but if you just calibrate, wait for it to calibrate, and then once it's calibrated it will go green on the axis you've got, and then you say next. So now you need to decide which side of the camera the lens motor's on. So you can see here it's on the right side of the camera, and on here it says right. That's really important that it's on the same side for it to be able to get the correct markings. So if I wanted to change it though, I need to use one of these special user buttons. So this user button, if I press that, it changes this to right hand side. If I change it, it changes it back. So that first user button, this one here, is affecting focus, this one's affecting zoom, and this one's affecting iris, focus, iris, zoom. So that changes direction. You have to use these three buttons. So if I click next, because I'm happy that's on the right side, it says here, press clear to start with a new empty lens or continue with the last open session. That's because I had a lens open. I was doing a lens mapping previously, and I didn't complete it. So this is saying I can continue with that if it's the same lens, but it's not, so we want to click clear. So it's a new one. So now I need to select my manufacturer. So let's say it's a Zeiss Super Speed. It's not a Zeiss Super Speed, but let's say it is. So we click on Zeiss, and then we need to select the name. So we go Super Speed, SS for short. You just use the thumb wheel to scroll, and then you tap on the screen once you're ready, and then click next. Set the serial number. You can set that for whatever it actually is, or you can make up your own. Click next, and then you need to select your scale. So in the UK, most of us tend to use imperial, so I'm going to go imperial. And here you'll see axes. These are all red because none of them have been done and mapped. So obviously we've only got our focus motor on there now, but there's something that's really important, is that you need to make sure you enter a value for the iris and zoom. So even though there's no iris or zoom motor currently on the camera, the cMotion cPRO requires you to have a iris and zoom value so that it can work out the depth of field. Obviously it's not going to be right because you can't adjust the iris because there's no iris motor, but it just requires that for the time being until they correct that in a firmware update. So if you go focus imperial, and then you can use the thumb wheel to select your value. So obviously turn the knob to select where it is in the lens. So if I go to infinity on the lens, so here's infinity, this is the value I entered a second ago. So if we start fresh, so we go delete, so user button 1, 2, 3, so user button UB2, delete. So let's start. So if I don't want to enter line, instead I just want to enter value where it is. So if I go using the thumb wheel, scroll to all the way to infinity. Okay, then I tap on the screen and that says infinity. Then I go to the next lowest value, which on this lens is 30 feet there. So if I go to 30 feet, going through 30 feet, oh, there we go. Okay, so 30 feet, there it is. So you click 30 feet, then so we come into close focus. So we go to close focus, and the close focus on our lens is 3 feet, and we can go from 3 feet, but we can't go to 2 foot 11. So we then have to click resolution, which is UB3, and then that will allow us to do fine adjustments in order to get to where we want. So there we go, 2 foot 11. Click that, and then I tap on the screen, and it saves it 2 foot 11. So now if I click next, it's gone green because I've mapped it. However, iris and zoom are still red, and that's because we haven't mapped them yet. And as you can see, save is grayed out because I haven't entered an iris and zoom value, even though I haven't got a motor on the lens. So if we click on iris, select a value, so say the minimum on a super speed it's 1.3, so I can only do 1.4, so I need to click resolution. Resolution goes green, and then I can select it as 1.3, so select that and then click next. See, it's gone green, and now I go to zoom, go to zoom scale. For the zoom scale, select the focal length that you're on. So if you're on a prime, we'll call this is 58, so we can go 58. There you go, click next, and then that will save it in the lens file as 58, as a 58mm. So now you'll see it says save, and it's in white, so we can actually save. So if we click the middle button here, we've saved that lens calibration. Okay, so click next. Now if we go load, you'll see, oh, these are previous ones I set up. So I've just saved, so these are previous super speeds I actually did. Here we go, but here's 58mm. So it says Zeiss T133, that's the 1.3 is the stop we set, and then 58 would be the zoom value. If we click on that, now we've got the markings on our handset. And if you wanted to use a pre-marked ring, which we often do, if you click on the menu, and then you go Control, Knob, and then you go pre-marked rings, and then you can select which pre-marked ring you want, which is closest to the close focus value of the lens. So say, what did you say it was? Say it's 20 inches, then we click 20 inches, and then that 20-inch marked ring will work for us. Lovely. Fantastic. So another little tip is if you're in lens and you're on the file and you want to see the details of the lens file that you've just made, if you click this button here, UB3, it will pop up with all the information about that lens. So Zeiss Super Speed T1.3 58mm and the serial number. And that's about it. I hope that helps. It's definitely, if you read through the menu, it's got all the information, but it's quite a long read. So hopefully this will have helped you. If you like the video, please subscribe.